Croptoberfest croppers. Hey, I want to share some ideas with you for how to take one piece of paper and some white cardstock, or you could use the scrapbook page or colored cardstock. I'm going to take one piece of paper and use it to make a 2-page layout. And this is just so you can kind of stretch your paper a little further. So I have a few different options to show you, and so I'm just going to cut some up and show you what it looks like. So for this first one, I'm going to take my 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut it in half. And then I'm going to take those two, I'm going to stack them and cut them in half again. So I'm going to end up with 4 6 by 6 squares. Then I'm going to stack all of them together and cut them into triangles. And so what I'm going to do is put the point on my cutting line, which I'm using the 2 because I wore out the first one. So anyway, then we're just going to cut through there. And now I have a bunch of triangles. All right, this one is really simple. So I hope you can see. Actually, I'm gonna end up putting it on the white, but since I've got a white background, I'm going to just stick these onto this pretty cardstock just so you can see where my pages are. So there's a few options here. If you take your triangles and, oops, let me flip them over. Do your page like this, and then kind of mirror that on the other page. Okay, you can do an option like that where you've got some triangles, and then what you would do is put your photos vertically on the page. Now, I don't have any photos with me right now, so I'm just going to show you. These are the same size as 4 by 6 photos. You could layer those on your page like so. And then these little mats are actually, you could also put those in there as an embellishment. So let me just show you a couple of different ways you can turn the triangles, and that'll give you a bunch of different looks. So here you've got some triangle pages, and you could even, you know, spin your page around like this. Another option would be to just turn your triangle like this, so that you're putting the short sides together in the middle. I'm going to spin this back around. There you go. And see, now you've changed it to diagonals. So again, there you go. So this is a place for 6 4 by 6 vertical photos. Now, if you didn't have vertical photos and you wanted to do horizontal photos, really simple. You could change it so that you've got your colors in the center. You can spin your colors to the outside. All kinds of different options here. Now, once you lay it down and you want to add some embellishments, you know, this is the Art Nouveau kit. It comes with some really lovely embellishments, which, you know, you could layer right here, kind of overlapping your photos. I would probably add a journaling box, things like that to it. I also like, you know, like I said, if I'm using this on, let's go back to Where'd my white paper go? Go back to putting this onto white paper. Here we go. Then something like this geometric punch. Have you guys got this one? Geometric punch would be fun to kind of overlap some photos there in the break. I also like the, let's see, this punch right here, which is the Mandala Burst. I used it to make a chain, so you could also, you know, put that on there. So I think that makes a good place for a border. Again, you'd want to put a journaling box, some embellishments, or you could even feature a photo over here in your decorative part. Now, one thing I wanted to mention about the white cardstock, have you used the slide in, the top loading pages? Okay, so the paper that comes in there, that's just white cardstock that can be used for a layout. So what I think is a really cost-efficient way to make a 2-page layout is to pull the white page out of your drop-in photo or drop-in pages, use it to make your layout. You can then flip it over and use the back side on your next page. So it's just an inexpensive way to use one decorative page and the cardstock that comes with those pages to complete a layout. Now, one thing I wanted to mention when you're sticking down the triangles, I really like to get the points really adhered. So I like to use the repositionable on the points because that way I can get all the way to the edge and make sure they're down. Now, I do like to be extra frugal with tape, so I still prefer to use the regular most of the time because I think it takes less of it. But when you're adhering those points, I think it's good to get them good and stuck down like that. Alrighty, and here's what a finished layout can look like. And this works for any paper. I mean, here's an example using our Croptoberfest paper. And, you know, it's great adding stickers, journaling boxes, you know, just little things to catch your eye and add to the layout. So there you go. There's one paper and 2 pages. Alrighty, let's do another one. Okay, with this one, we're just gonna cut the paper into strips. And I want to be able to put my stripe on the page horizontally. And so we're gonna cut a 3.5-inch strip. So I'm gonna turn my paper this way so that I know that I'm cutting across the stripe for it to be like I want. So there's one 3.5 and another 3.5. All right. Now what I want to do with this one is I'm going to take and, like I said, I want to put my stripe going across the paper. And again, you can use a white background. I'm using the bronze shimmer because I love it, and also so that you can see it in contrast to my work surface here. So I'm going to just line these up so that that goes all the way across. And then I'm going to take the other side and add it here just for a little contrast. And then what this allows us to do is put quite a few photos on here. So we can do a square one and a vertical right here. And these are photo mats, and I usually cut my photo mat for this is like 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. That way when you print out your photos 4 by 6, you have just a little bit of, you know, white border around the edge. Here's a 4x6, so you can see that that just leaves a little bit of a white border around it. So that's what I usually cut my mats to. Anyway, and then let's see, we can put another vertical one here. That leaves a great place here for some embellishments. And then on this side, we can do a couple of horizontals. And we can either do a couple of the square ones to match up with it, or we could even trade that out if you have more 4x6s and, you know, lay that in there. And then you've got another good area right here for embellishments. Now, you could, you know, play with how you lay out this center one. I mean, you could put it over here. You could put it all the way to the edge. You could, you know, move these to the top, however you want to. There's just a lot of ways you could lay that out. You could even slide that under if you wanted some continuity there. Now here is an example using our Croptoberfest paper, and I used that as a burnt orange, I think, cardstock for the back that was in the cardstock sampler, and so then used this paper with the diamonds, the gingham, and the stripes. And you know, your strip goes across, one down the middle, add some embellishments, and you're done. All right, for this one, we're gonna cut first a couple of 2.5-inch strips off. And ultimately, see, this has a little pattern. I want my strips to be going on my page this way. So I'm gonna cut it this direction so that I know that in the end, those will be right side up. So there's one 2.5-inch strip. And here's the second 2.5-inch strip. Now I've got left, we have a 7-inch by 12-inch. So I'm going to cut this so that I have a 7x7 and a 5x7. So the easiest way is to cut off the 5. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, and again, you can use white. I'm putting this on the brown so it shows up, but we're going to take and put our 2.5-inch strips, one at the top and one at the bottom of this page. And then with our bigger piece, the 7x7 piece, we're going to put it here, and then take the shorter or the smaller, the 5x7 piece, and put it here. So we've got a nice flow from one page to the next. Now for photos with this one, this gives a good opportunity for a little bit of everything. We've got 2 horizontal and 1 vertical there. We can do a vertical and throw in, you know, a couple of square ones on this side. We have a great place for a title and some embellishments, maybe around the corners here. If you don't use a lot of the 4x4 size, again, you can change this to be what fits you. Perhaps you'd rather have a couple of 4x6s. There we go. So, yeah, just different ways we can lay this out. If you do more verticals, let's try, you know, turning these around, going like this. There you go. Maybe you would like to have the stripes as your top and bottom. And then you can flip it over and have this like this. So just different ways that you can trade that around. And let me show you our Croptoberfest pages. Here it is with the green pumpkins and on some goldenrod cardstock. So there's the same layout with different paper. So there you go. Another quick and easy 2-page layout for you.